you. Okay, the next group will be Jim Suddy. Five minutes, yes, go ahead.
Hello, Madam Chair and Honorable Commissioners. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to address the Commission. I come before you by the way of a 2-year internship in the Chairman's Office of the California Air Resources Board while earning an environmental science degree from Sacramento State. As a member of the Chairman's Office, one of my duties was to facilitate access by members of the public to board meetings and to act as a liaison to the board itself, ARB staff. I also acted as a personal assistant to board members and to the head of the scientific review panel. I then went to work for a county air pollution control district as an inspector and then briefly was employed by a company that marketed petroleum products for ExxonMobil, and thus have just seen about every aspect of air pollution development, rulemaking, enforcement of environmental regulations, and direct marketing of gasoline oil from both a public and corporate perspective. I also used to be one of the so-called dooners. I lived in Grover Beach for 5 years, and in my first year of residency, I purchased an annual pass to the dunes and frequented the park often. In that time, my perspective towards the SVRA changed from one of acceptance of its existence to one it to be closed to ORV use. I have personally witnessed the degradation of the dunes and the habitat that would otherwise be provided to the creatures that inhabit them. I have seen the wanton destruction of the environment due to the burning of trash, pressure-treated and painted lumber, ORV use in closed areas of the park, and dumping of sewage by the duners. At about 1 year, I was made aware of the existence of a group that refers to themselves by the innocuous-sounding name, the Friends of the Oceano Dunes. Nothing could be further from the truth. This group of people only has one purpose, to maintain access to the dunes that they may be destroyed by a bunch of reckless people in pursuit of what they consider fun. To say that these people are the Friends of the Dunes is akin to saying that a terrorist stands for peace. Although not all visitors to the dune fall into the category of the hardcore duner, the environmental damage done by the duners is unbelievably disproportionate to their numbers. It isn't limited to the actual destruction of the dunes and the flora and fauna therein. It starts when they load up their trucks and trailers with what they call sand toys, and then drag a trailer house hundreds of miles to the coast, creating air pollution all the while in their modified trucks that have been illegally modified to disable the emissions control systems and remove catalytic converters. After establishing a campsite and unloading their sand toys, they light a bonfire and burn just about anything that can be thrown into a fire pit. The burning of trash and treated lumber in an outdoor fire creates dioxins, one of the most toxic air contaminants known to mankind. And despite what the Friends of the Oceano Dunes is rampant at the dunes, their tow vehicles are modified by either removing the catalytic converters and particulate shafts, and in the case of diesels, by adding a power chip that creates up to 90 times the pollution of an ordinary vehicle. Their sand toys have pumped up engines that require leaded gasoline to function, and since they are uncontrolled, spew up to 40 times the emissions of a passenger car, and they also run a generator 24/7. The air pollution from the dunes isn't just toxic silica dust.
Okay, please, just let the man finish. You'll all have your turn.
It consists of direct gasoline evaporation due to spilling during the refueling of vehicles and generators, emissions from uncontrolled motor vehicles, two-stroke engines that emit up to 60% of their oil fuel mixture unburned, leaded race fuel used in the engines thrown into the air over an open campfire to create a plume of flames as an illegal firework. Diesel exhaust from modified engines that don't have emission controls have been programmed to dump extra fuel into the cylinders, and of course the creation of ash and soot from the burning of trash. I understand that someone representing the Friends is going to come before you and say that their members don't do anything, that they're there to protect the dunes, that nature can thrive hand in hand with their use of the dunes. But do not be fooled. About 3 years ago, I borrowed a truck and went down to the dunes on a cold, foggy Tuesday. As a trained investigator, it only took me about 30 minutes to find that 3 of the 5 campsites I visited showed direct evidence of trash burning in the fire pits, and one of them had a sewage pit from where the campers had dumped their excrement before departing the beach. I traveled to the southern end of the beach and I saw that the vegetation was struggling to exist and covered in a fine soot of ash that looked like gray snow. They will also come before you and argue that their grandfather, their father, and now they themselves have been coming to the beach for years. This is to say my family has been coming here and destroying the environment for 3 generations, and I demand to keep destroying the environment so that I can pass our family legacy down to my own children. The people who make their living off renting ATVs and other services will decry their jobs and livelihoods. So did the people who made the bump stocks that have been used to slaughter 58 people in Vegas.
Now, come on, all right. No. Just be quiet and let him finish. Wait, Let him finish and you will have your turn. No problem.
Okay. Bump stocks are used to slaughter 58 people and grievously wounded 422 in Las Vegas, yet bump stocks are now banned. So should ORVs. Finally, the economic benefit of the donors is far outweighed by the environmental destruction wasted upon the land, air, and sea by the very same. What is considered fun by them is considered wanton and complete unnecessary destruction by the rest of society.
Your time is up, sir. Please,
Thank
sir.
you. I urge the
Respect the
commission
time.
to uphold the staff's report.
Thank you.